Sam Burrow, Emma Wagner, and Taylor Wagner. Once again, senior showmen, let's make our way into the ring. Our judge for this afternoon's show is Mr. Jonathan May from Man's Choice, Pennsylvania. He's the owner-operator of May Family Enterprises, a club lamb and commercial cattle operation. He's a member of the 2004 Penn State Livestock Judging Team, and he runs May Insurance Enterprises, a crop and agribusiness insurance agency. Thank you so much for coming out to Shippensburg today, Jonathan, and joining us for our show and sorting our sheep and goats. Let's put our hands together and welcome him here to Shippensburg today. These are our showmanship classes. Our showmanship today is sponsored in memory of John and Dot Holtry. Let's put together our hands for those sponsors as well. Thanks for supporting our kids. Intermediate showmen, please make your way to ringside. Helping us out in our show today is our Shippensburg Fair royalty. We have our 2025 Shippensburg Fair Queen, Rory Jones, our 2025 Shippensburg Fair Sweetheart, Ellery McKenrick, and our 2025 Little Miss Shippensburg Fair Aspen Jumper. Let's give them a round of applause. Thanks, ladies, for coming to help us today.
Very nice set of senior showmen to get us started here today in the Lamb Show. We're going to try to be quick and efficient today to give the kids a fair shot. It's going to be a hot day and a long day, so the plan is get out here, get them stuck, and get them set up, and we'll get through it. I think these two young ladies are an obvious top pair for me. The young lady that wins the drive, I think, just does it a notch better in terms of getting that lamb stuck. Really does a really nice job in keeping that sheep together in the move. I think that's really where you excel the young lady in second. Your sheep just always is presented very well. Good brace, good handle, excellent job in keeping that head and neck up. Nice job getting into the first hole. Young lady here again kind of close in a second hole here. Again, that sheep doesn't stay quite together as well in the move as the young lady in first. But I really like how you present this ewe lamb on the side profile. Really nice brace, really good drive. Young lady in third, you got one of the bigger sheep out here. I know it's hard to get to those back legs, but sometimes, a few times more often than the young ladies 1 and 2, your feet were just out of place a couple times. Otherwise, great job in keeping him up, really keeping that head and neck up, keeping his front end elevated. Nice job in getting into that third hole. Young man here in fourth, I think you kind of worked your way up. That sheep didn't cooperate in the beginning. You got her calmed down, at least for a couple good looks on the side. I can tell you know how to show, but I don't know that you had a really good, willing partner here today, but a good job getting into fourth. Young lady here in fifth, again, a nice job for the most part. Maybe not quite as efficient as some of those others in getting those legs stuck just a little bit quicker. Nice job in kind of keeping that top down. On down the line, we just got to get a little bit more efficient, getting those sheep stuck, but a nice job throughout.
Congratulations to our senior showman. First place, Katie Miller. Second, Lacey Lehman. Third, Alana Haynes. Fourth, Braden Myers. Fifth, Taylor Wagner. Sixth, Cooper Umbrell. Seventh, Emma Wagner. Eighth, Robert Creek. And ninth, Becky Kowick. We're now ready for our intermediate showmen. These are ages 14 to 16. Blake Bear, Tyler Best, Hannah Beneyes, Colt Cleland, Judd Cleland, Chase Cruzy, Stephanie Drees, Mallory Fagan, Sam Hester, Caitlin Holtree, Allie Lehman, Braden Miller, Emily Myers, Trinity Pierce, Savannah Stoner, Taylor Storm, Aubrey Watkins, and Micah Yingling.
really good group here, especially these kids in the top couple here. Young man's going to win this drive. I think, again, very, very close in this top end. Even on down 3-4 here, we got some really, really good individuals out here. I think young man just, that sheep's always stuck. It's always perfect. He's really good in terms of rocking that sheep back appropriately, really good on the move. One time I kind of caught you over there when he didn't follow quite quick enough, but otherwise absolutely perfect on that side profile, how that head and neck is elevated, how that top lays down in that sheep. You do a really, really nice job of presenting that sheep and not really knowing you're there, and that's kind of the whole point of showmanship. Young lady here in second, I will give it to you. You did an excellent job because that sheep in the beginning did not want to work. And I thought a lot of times about pulling you out early because you couldn't get him stuck. But the longer we went, the better he got. Really, really good at look on that side profile. I think sometimes you just got to rock him back a little bit more. He gets a little bit lazy in that top line. Excellent job right there. But when we compare you to one, that's the hair right there that kind of made the difference. Otherwise, an excellent job in everything you did out here, your mannerisms and getting around. Congratulations. Young lady here in third, I think you did an excellent job of, quite frankly, outlasting the rest of the drive, but you just didn't outlast those two ahead of you. Here at the end, you were a little less efficient in getting that sheep set up. He moved on you, and sometimes that's all we need to do to pull you out. But I think otherwise a great job in terms of cranking that sheep up. You did really good on the move. Nice job overall. Good job. Young lady here coming in fourth. Again, an excellent job in terms of setting that sheep up. Maybe not always as efficient as those above you, but really good in terms of that brace and that side view. Really nice job in getting around the ring. On down the line, it's really, really close, guys. I want to congratulate each and every one of you because it was a drive of 19. You guys made the final drive out here. Good job.
Congratulations, intermediate showman. First place, Blake Bayer. Second, Mallory Fagan. Third place, Taylor Storm. And fourth, Savannah Stoner. Fifth, Tyler Best. Sixth, Chase Cruzy. And seventh, Allie Lehman. Eighth, Cole Cleveland. And ninth, Hannah Brenize. Next in the ring is our junior showman. These exhibitors are ages 11 to 13. Jacob Best, Lane Brenize, Emmeline Cleveland, Gage Cleveland, Lane Darhauer, Caleb Fogelsanger, Christopher Kelly, Addie Martin, Landon McNew, Caleb Miller, Sophia Oser, Blake Smith. That's a scratch. Lizzie Smith, Jackson Stoner, Curly Saplee, Andy Swab, George Swab, Silas Ziegler, and Leo Zinn. That's your class. Novice showman, please make your way to ringside. Once again, we'd like to recognize our sponsor for our showmanship classes here today. They're sponsored in memory of John and Dot Holtree. Let's put our hands together. Thank you so much for supporting our shows.
So what did I say about it being efficient and quick? Well, these kids are making it kind of tough on me out here in terms of sorting them. Generally, as the kids get younger, it gets a little bit easier to go through them, but that's not the case today. I think a super deep class here, what we have out here, and I think, again, it's really close, and I think all of these kids out here, and even some of the ones we sent back, should be really proud, and whoever's working with them at home is really doing a great job. I think the young lady here with the white sheep just kind of sorts herself naturally to the top in the sense that she's pretty fault-free. I think that sheep always looks really, really good from that side profile. Your angles are almost perfect. You do a great job on the move. You're comfortable. You're calm. I really like how your mannerisms are out here in terms of just getting that sheep stuck overall throughout. Really good on the move. Excellent job and a great, great class to get into the first hole. Young man here in second, I think, again, one that you kind of worked your way up, and I think you're a quiet assassin out here. I mean, you're really, really good in terms of just being calm. You really get that sheep jacked up. I mean, you have a really, really big outline sheep, and I think one that you do a really, really nice job in getting him set. I can definitely tell that you've spent a lot of time with him because there's probably no way you can reach those back legs, just one person showing that sheep. Excellent job in everything that you did around the ring. Maybe just not always quite as efficient as her. If we got to talk about, how I sorted you guys out, she was nearly perfect. Just a couple times you were out of place, but not bad at all. Really, really nice job coming in second. Young lady here in third, I would say out of the top three, you had to mess with your sheep the most. I just think your player wasn't necessarily playing for you today, but excellent job in terms of how you jack that sheep up, how you drive into it. Obviously, you know what you're doing. You're really good with that hand placement. Really looks good there. Sometimes you got just a little bit lazy on you on that side profile, but overall an excellent, excellent job getting into that third hole. Young man coming in fourth, again, you're really close to that top. Maybe when we sent you around the opposite way, that kind of sorted you out a little bit, and maybe some people will say that's unfair, but we got to find a way to sort you out, and sometimes that's what we have to do. But I think otherwise you did a really, really nice job in terms of especially keeping that head and neck up. You're really good in terms of getting that sheep's front end elevated. A few times maybe out of place, but overall really, really good. Excellent set throughout. Congratulations.
Congratulations to our junior showman. First place, Carly Sapri. Second, Jackson Stoner. Third place, Andy Swab. Fourth, George Swab. Fifth, Addie Martin. Sixth, Lane Bruneyes. And seventh, Lindsay Smith. Next in the ring will be our novice showman. These exhibitors are ages 8 to 10. Casey Barr. Aiden Fogelsanger, Sadie Grimes, Jace Kelly, Emmeline Martin, Glenn McKee, McKenna McNeil, Delaney Smith, Charlie Wheeler, Blake Smith. That's your class. Up next, we'll be selecting our champion, Market Lamb Showman. From the senior division, we need Katie Miller and Alana Haynes. From the intermediates, Blake Bear. From our junior division, Carly Sapli and Jackson Stoner. Those animals are ringside for selection of our champion, Market Lamb Showman.
Another nice set of kids here in our next drive. This young man here, I think, pretty well wins this fairly handily for me. Just an excellent job throughout of really getting this sheep stuck, and it really stands there like a statue. Really good job with his hands and keeping that sheep's head up. Really good with those angles. Really good in squirrel on all four. Really nice job throughout and really balanced overall effort. Young man here in second, I like your effort as well. I really like your brace. You had a pretty good side view. Just a few times your legs got out of place in relation to our class winner, so just pay a little bit more attention to that, but I think a great job overall presenting your sheep and getting around the ring appropriately. Young lady here in third, I really like your side view. I really like how you keep that head and neck up appropriately. I just need you to be a little bit quicker in getting those legs set. A few times they were a little bit out of place more often than the two young gentlemen in front of you, but a really nice job coming in third here. Young lady here in third, I love how you handle that sheep up front. I just need you to get his back legs set quicker and more appropriately, and I think you really pushed some of those kids ahead of you. Really nice job. On down the line, really good effort. I appreciate your trying out here. Keep at it.
Congratulations to our novice showman. First place, Casey Bear. Second, Jace Kelly. Third, Emmeline Martin. Fourth, McKenna McNew. Fifth, Cash Fisk. Sixth, Sadie Grimes. And seventh, Glenn McKee. Let's put our hands together. Congratulations all of our showmen once again. And thank you to our sponsors in memory of John and Dot Holtry. We're now ready for our champion showman drive. Our champion drive is sponsored by Scott and Carla Dole. From the senior division, we should have Katie Miller, senior division winner Katie Miller, intermediate division winner Blake Bear, junior division winner Carly Saplee, and your novice division winner Casey Bear. Market lamb exhibitors, we're going to be ready with our lightweight classes next. Lightweight 1 and 2, start making your way to ringside.
Really excellent showmanship drive out here today, really throughout, and I'm not just saying that to say it. I mean, I think there's some really talented kids out here. These top four, I'm going to go through and work them a little bit more, and then I'll show you who I like the best. And honestly, for me, it comes down to kind of their style and what I prefer in terms of just how they get around the ring, how they handle themselves. I mean, we could be out here all afternoon trying to wait for one of these four to make a mistake. And I don't want to do that. I don't think anybody wants to do that. So I commend all four of you. You did an excellent job. Some of your divisions were incredibly tough to get through, to get out here to this top four. Again, I'm going to go out and work them and show you the one I like the best. And congratulations again, especially to all the kids back in the barn for pushing these four really elite showmen.
champion showman goes to Carly Saplee. We're going to call Carly and Katie from the ring. Carly has already qualified for Supreme Showmanship, and Katie's a past winner, so she's not eligible. So we're going to bring back the next one in each class that is eligible. In our senior division should be Alana Haynes. And in our junior division should be Jackson Sterner. And now we'll let our judge select a representative for Market Lambs to the Supreme Showmanship contest for tomorrow night.
As we bring in our seconds from those respective divisions that left, I think we have to take into consideration it's a body of work throughout. What you did in your drives and what you're doing out here really plays into my mind in terms of who comes in first and who comes in second. Again, I'll look at them a little bit and I'll show you who I like the best next.
Representing Market Lands in Supreme Showmanship will be Blake Bear. Congratulations again to all of our exhibitors. All right, Market Lambs, lightweight one. We're ready for you in the ring. Lightweight one, Michael Yingling, 71. Trinity Pierce, 207. Micah Yingling, 73, and Emma Wagner's 181. Weights in this class are 82 to 87 pounds. That's your class. Lightweight 2, Market Lambs, lightweight 2. In our first class of lightweight lambs, obviously, probably none of these are ready to be
processed at this point. They're very light. They definitely need more time on feed. So we're going to evaluate them basically on structure. I think our top pair is pretty close in the overall design and build. I like this one to come in first. Really long-sided, really level top. One that's got a pretty good front end to him. Enough rib to him at this weight. I think one that might develop one down the line. Sheep here in second, just a notch greener, maybe gives up a notch of dimension and some overall width in relation to our class winner, but a nice top pair. Coming into the Katahdin appearing lamb here in third, I really like this one in terms of his rib shape and his middle. Just maybe one that gets a little bit plainer in his overall design, shortens up from flank to flank in relation to the other one. Our class winner, coming into fourth here, the young lady, again, one that's really elevated and long-sided, just one that narrows up a bit for me in relation to the others.
Weight 101, first place, Micah Yingling. Second, Micah Yingling. Third, Trinity Pierce. And fourth, Emma Wagner. Next class in the ring, lightweight 2. We're going to hold you on ringside for just a second. We'll be right back with you. Just a quick announcement while we're on break. Taylor Wagner, Christopher Kelly, Lane Brenaz, Becky Kowick, and Blake Bill. We will need your barrels for supreme showmanship. We know some of you are busy with lambs and goats. That's fine. Just want to remind you that we're going to need your barrels sometime tonight for supreme showmanship. Into the ring, lightweight 2, Aubrey Watkins, 591, Caleb Miller, 66, Caleb Fogelsanger, 28, and Trinity Pierce, 206. Weights in this class are 88 to 93 pounds. That's your class. Lightweight 3s to ringside.
Young man's natural color blue lamb will win this drive. I think in terms of build, really excels this class. She's really good up through that front end. She's really tall-fronted, good in how she lays that shoulder in. One that's good and long and level down that top. One that's got adequate rib to her at this age. I think, again, one with some more time is going to look really neat on down the line. Coming into the next second here, this lamb probably excels the third place lamb in terms of his overall volume and rib shape. He's not going to blow you away right now in terms of his overall dimension, but I think one that's built good enough and has just enough width through that middle to get into that second hole. Third and fourth, again, lambs that are just a little bit more plainer in their type and kind today, but a nice set.
Lightweight 2, first place, Aubrey Watkins. Second, Caleb Fogelsanger. Third, Caleb Miller. And fourth, Trinity Pierce. Next class in the ring, lightweight 3. Charlie Wheelers, 469. Emmeline Cleland, 190. Lane Darhauer, 471. Silas Ziegler, 144. And Braden Miller, 67. Weights in this class are 94 to 98 pounds. Lightweight 4s to ringside.
Our next lightweight class here, really moderate frame lamb here to win the drive. She definitely blows away the rest of the drive here in terms of overall power and dimension. Really good in terms of that handle. She's really pulled apart as you analyze her down her top, really square and level out through that hip, really full through her lower leg. Sure, I'd like to stretch her out from end to end, elevate her up through her chest floor, maybe give her a little bit more of a bigger outline, but one that really runs away with this class here today. Coming in next, I like the sheep in terms of how it is elevated up through its front end. It's a longer-sided sheep than our class winner, but one that just doesn't have the dimension and shapeliness of that sheep that wins the drive, but definitely excels the rest of the class in terms of its overall look, balance, and build. Next lamb here, one that is good in terms of its overall market composition, maybe one that just doesn't have the eye appeal and look of those two above. Lambs that are rounding out the class, bigger outline sheep that I like in that regard, just a little bit too green today in relation to the rest of the class.
Lightweight 3, first place, Emmeline Cleland. Second, Charlie Wheeler. Third, Silas Ziegler. Fourth, Braden Miller. And fifth, Lane Darhauer. Next class in the ring, lightweight 4. Aubrey Watkins, 146. Aiden Fogelsanger, 27. Blake Smith, 227. Robert Creek, 124. And Jacob Best, 242. That's your class. All lambs in this class are 101. Again, all lambs in this class are 101. Lightweight 5 to ringside.
Another easy class winner here with this young man's Ulam. Again, one that really blows away this class in terms of overall power and dimension. Super shapely running down that top. She's really expressive in terms of her overall rib shape and design. Big hip, big belly cheap here, big bone cheap to get into the first hole. Again, one I'd like to extend up through that front end, just make it a notch bigger in terms of overall outline, but there's just too much power to get her out of the first hole. Young man's dark weather, here in second. Again, one that's really tall-fronted, really long-sided, just gives up that overall dimension and power of that sheep in the first hole, but one that's good to look at from the side profile. One down the line, again, we have some lambs that are just more plainer in their type and kind, need a little bit more dimension and overall width to run with those above.
Lightweight 4, first place, Jacob Best. Second, Robert Creek. Third, Aiden Fogelsanger. Fourth, Blake Smith. And fifth, Aubrey Watkins. Next class in the ring, lightweight 5. Cash Fisk, number 29. Leo Zen, 398. Casey Bear, 104. Delaney Smith, 226. Sophia Oser, 323. In our final class here of lightweights, the weights are 102 to 105. Exhibitors in the board. Up next is our lightweight champion. We need first and second from each weight class. At ringside for selection of our lightweight champion, Market Lamb. Once again, first and second from each class to ringside.
Young men's weight appearing leather here. Easy class winner for me. I love this sheep in terms of his overall build and design. Super good to look at from that side profile. One that's really good and neat about his front end. He's pulled apart. He's got some natural width and shapeliness running down that top. He's pretty good heighted for me today out here as well. He's pretty good in terms of his overall handle. Really level from end to end. Really square made. Love this sheep on the move. Really big bone, big footed. Easy class winner again for me to get into that first hole. Young man's sheep here that comes in second, most closely follows him in type and kind in regards to what is left out here in the class. One that I do like the build on this sheep. I like the feet and legs on it. It gives us a little bit extra in terms of its overall rib shape. Does have some dimension running down that top. Just one that isn't quite as good in his overall build and design, power and width and shapeliness of a class winner, but a nice sheep in his own right. On down the line, again, we just have some sheep that are a little bit plainer, some variations in finish and condition and size, but a nice class throughout.
Lightweight 5, first place Casey Barr, second Cash Fisk, third Leo Zen, fourth Delaney Smith, and fifth Sophia Oser. We're now ready for selection of our lightweight champion. From lightweight 1, we need Micah Yingling and Micah Yingling. Should be 73 and 71. Lightweight 2, Abby Watkins 591 and Caleb Fogelsanger 28. Lightweight 3, Emmeline Cleland 190 and Charlie Wheeler 469. Lightweight 4, Jacob Best 242 and Robert Creek 124. And your lightweight 5 is Casey Burrs 104 and Cash Fisk 29. Our weight division drives and classes are sponsored by KM Showstock, Katie Miller and crew. Let's put our hands together and give her a great big round of applause. Thank you so much for giving back to our show and for supporting the exhibitors here at Shippensburg.
Getting into our first division of the day, I think we have some nice quality sheep out here. We've analyzed them, we went through them, and we've talked about them in each of the classes, so I'm not going to go back and do that necessarily in each of these weight division drives. I'm going to show you the ones I like, and I think we'll try to be consistent throughout the day.
Champion lightweight market lamb goes to Casey Burr. Cash, we'll get you to slide over to that front row. And we'll select our reserve. And your reserve champion lightweight will go to Cash Fisk. Congratulations. We'll go ahead and clear the ring. We're ready for our medium weight 1. Medium weight 1 into the ring, Caitlin Holtree, 350. Leo Zinn, 444. Sadie Grimes, 168. Gwen McKee, 280. And Casey Barrow, 105. Once again, medium weight 1 into the ring. That's your class. Lambs in this class are 106 to 111. Medium weight 2 to ringside.
Young man's Weather Lamb will win this drive. Again, one that really silhouettes very well from that side profile, really level from end to end. Really one that lays a lot of muscle and definition coming down his rack and through his line. Really a sheep that's really big cage for his size and weight out here. Again, one that balances up very, very well. One that's good on his feet and legs, really square from end to end. Young lady Z-Lamb will be here in second. Again, one that I appreciate the shape that she has running down her top, has some rib shape, just maybe not the overall build and balance of that fancy-made Weather that wins the drive, but I think one that's presented really well out here. Really nice sheep to get into the second hole. Again, on down the line, some sheep that, again, just get a little bit plainer, a little bit different types and kinds for me in relation to the two above.
Medium weight 1, first place Casey Bear, second Sadie Grimes, third Laura Zen, fourth Caitlin Holtree, and fifth Gwen McKee. Next class in the ring, medium weight 2. Stephanie Drees, 346. Braden Myers, 59. Tyler Best, 240. Allie Lehman, 359. And Becky Koenig, 90. That's your class. Lambs in this class are 112 to 116, 116. Medium weight 3 to ringside.
No, set the start. I think the young lady's natural colored weather just balances up a notch better for me. I like how he's built better about that front end. I think he's a notch shallower in terms of his chest floor. Definitely one that's taller at the point of his shoulder. When you view him from that side profile, he's really balanced, really square from end to end. A nice sheep when you get him on the move as well. I think he excels the weather in second in terms of his overall gait and traction as he gets around this ring. Nice balanced sheep to get into that first hole. Young man's weather here in second probably excels the class winner in terms of his overall shapeliness and touch. Really big in terms of that rack and three-dimensional through his line. I think he just doesn't balance up quite as well for me. I'd like to neaten up his chest floor. I'd like to make him a little bit better off of his rear too in terms of how straight he is and how that affects how he moves and gets around the ring. A couple of nice sheep here coming in next. Ones, again, that have some balance, have some look to them, just maybe not the overall dimension and width and shapeliness of those above.
Last call for Addison Martin to ringside. Results for medium weight 2. Alan Lehman, first place. Second, Tyler Best. Third, Braden Myers. Fourth, Becky Killick. And fifth, Stephanie Drees. Next class in the ring, medium weight 3. In the ring, medium weight 3, Lindsey Smith, 170. Addie Martin, 134. Judd Cleveland, 187. Sam Hester's, 139. And Gage Cleveland's, 197. That's your class. All 5 lambs in this class are 117, 117. Medium weight 4 to ringside.
Young man's whether he'll win this drive. I think the one out here that balances up really well. He's really square made from end to end. It's really level running down that top. He's got some definition and some volume when you analyze him down through there, and he's really big hipped, really square, especially at the top of his tailhead in relation to some of these others in the class. Sure, maybe I'd like to lengthen him out from end to end, maybe giving him a little bit better overall look in terms of his chest floor, but I think one that balances out the best in terms of his good attributes here, really good as well in getting around the ring to win this class. Coming in next, the best handling ram of the class here is here in second. Really fresh over that top, down through his line, really big hit. I'd like to just maybe deepen this one out on the side, drop that flank down just a little bit. I think one that's just a little bit too tight for me today in that regard. I'd like to give it a little bit more shape through that middle center part of his body in relation to that class winner. But a really nice sheep, and you presented this one very well to get into the second hole. We'll touch on this young man's back ewe lamb. Again, really nice to look at from that side profile, one that I like in terms of her angles. I just like to square up, particularly out over her tail head in relation to the two above, and she's just not as shapely when you analyze her top in relation to those two above, but a really nice class.
Medium weight 3, first place, Gage Cleland. Second, Addie Martin. Third, Judd Cleland. Fourth, Lindsay Smith. And fifth, Sam Hester. Next class in the ring, medium weight 4. Colt Cleland, 196. Taylor Wagner's 178. McKenna McNew's 451. And Robert Creek's 123. That's your class. 4 lambs, all weighing 118 pounds, 118. Medium weight 5 to ringside.
Man's natural colored whether to win this drive. I love this one from the side profile. This one's put together really good in terms of his overall build. I just love how that neck ties into the top of his shoulder. He's really tall fronted, extremely level down that top, really square made. But when you get your hands on him, he's really fresh. He's really fed well. He's really good in terms of overall muscle shape and dimension. I like his rib shape. I like his front end. Sure, I'd like to see him move just a notch freer and easier off of those rear two, but otherwise I think that's a pretty cool cat to get into the first hole. Young lady's Weather here in second. Again, another one that really balances up pretty well. I think she's got some handle to it. Maybe just not as fresh as that class winner. Maybe one that's not quite as neat about his front end in relation to that Blue Weather, but one I think that, again, it's presented very well. Got a lot of balance and look to this guy as well. Lambs down here, again, just a couple that are a little bit more plainer in their type and kind. I'd like to maybe change them about their structure a notch, but a nice class.
Medium weight 4, first place, Colt Cleland. Second, McKenna McNew. Third, Taylor Wagner. And fourth, Robert Creek. Medium weight 5 into the ring. Katie Miller's 308. Emma Wagner 180. Cash Fisk 30. And Caitlin Holtry 349. Four lambs in this class weighing 119 to 121. 121. Exhibitors up next, medium weight champion. Top 2 from each class need to be at ringside for selection of medium weight champion.
Another really elegant fancy leather here to win this drive. I think one, again, balances up really good, really neat in his overall build. I think he lays that shoulder in pretty appropriately. What you get your hands on, again, one that's really fresh, has some dimension to him, has some look from that side profile. I think moves around the ring pretty good. He's big-footed and big-legged. Nice sheep, I'd say, to easily win this drive. Young man's southbound appearing leather. Second here, again, one, I like the volume and the shapeliness. Sure, he's a little bit softer than our class winner. He might be a little bit carrying a little bit more cover, obviously, than our class winner, but one that I think is a functional, really good-looking sheep to get into the second hole. Similar lamb here in third. Again, one that's long-sided, tall-fronted, just doesn't have enough dimension. Same goes with our fourth lamb, just a little bit more plainer in its type and kind.
Medium weight 5, first place, Katie Miller. Second, Cash Fisk. Third, Caitlin Holtry. And fourth, Emma Wagner. Good timing. In the ring of our medium weight champion drive, out of medium weight 1, Casey Bear and Sadie Grimes. Medium weight 2, Allie Lehman and Tyler Best. Medium weight 3, Gage Cleland and Addie Martin. Medium weight 4, Colt Cleland and McKenna McNew. And medium weight 5, Katie Miller and Cash Fisk.
Next division, again, a really nice set. I think these 10 lambs out here really exemplify kind of what we had, and these are generally the ones that really kind of rose to the top for the most part fairly easily. Again, we've talked about them. There's 2 out here I like a whole bunch, and I'm going to go show you who they are.
Grand champion medium weight goes to Colt Cleland. Where Slad McKenna's over will select our reserve. And your reserve is Katie Miller out of the 5th class. Congratulations. We'll go ahead and clear the ring. Attention exhibitors, if you are showing market goats, we're going to roll straight from market lambs into market goats, no break. We're rolling straight from lambs to goats, no break. We are going to split the showmanship classes that are large. We'll make that announcement in just a little bit. So be prepared, we're going to split into heats for showmanship, but no break between lambs and goats. We're rolling on. Into the ring, light heavyweight. Light heavyweight lambs in the ring. Lacey Lehman's 356. Tyler Best 241 and Colt Cleland's 192. 3 lambs in this heat. Weights are 123 to 126, 123 to 126. Light heavyweight 2 to ringside.
Young man's weather here to win the drive. Again, one that balances up really well. I think he's really neat made about that front end. He's really short in his overall blade, but one that definitely excels the class in terms of freshness. Really good in that handle. Really three-dimensional as you handle him running down his rack and through his line. Really good to look at from the side profile, square from end to end. I think one that's sound enough also to get into that first hole. Young lady's weather here in second. One that might be a notch taller shouldered, a longer sided. Just doesn't tie together as well for me as you analyze him running down his top. Gets a little bit loose on the move, but one that does have some dimension and some overall look from that side profile. Big bone, big footed kind of guy here. Just like to neaten him up and freshen him up to run with the one above. Plain made sheep here, maybe just a notch past 12 noon in terms of how I'd like to see him in terms of his condition and freshness, but one that does have some true product to him.
Light heavyweight 1, first place Tyler Best, second Lacey Lehman, and third Colt Cleveland. Caleb Miller, 65. Glenn McKee, 279. Silas Ziegler, 145. Cooper Umbrell, 370. And Curly Supplee, 595. 5 lambs in this class, 127 to 128.
Ladies Whiteweather is going to win this drive, and again, I think it's fairly handily. I love to look at this sheep from the side profile, just perfectly in his overall balance, really, really good in his angles. I love how he comes down so square on all fours, big bone, big footed sheep, yet he's so tall fronted, he's really elevated up through that chest floor. I love how that neck ties into the top of his shoulder, really robust in terms of his overall rib cage, depth of side, square from end to end. Sure, he might not blow you away in terms of his overall touch, may not be the hardest handling sheep you're going to see today, but I think one that balances up really, really well, really, really good to look at, presented very well by the young lady to easily get into the first hole. I think second and third is kind of where your decision is. I think both of them don't move near as well as I'd like to see them move, especially off of those rear two. I'm going to like to go with this young man's Weather here in front of me for second. I think one that just might be a little bit more fresher to the touch today, a little bit more crisp as you analyze him running down that top. I think they're similar in their overall design and build. I think this one excels the young man's Weather in third in those regards. Young man's Weather here in third, again, one that's got a lot of volume and a lot of rib shape to him, just maybe a little bit plainer in his overall kind. One, again, I'd like to give a little bit more freshness and handle down that top to run above. The Rams on down, again, ones I'd like to just change them a notch structurally and how we move off of both rear ends.
Light heavyweight 2, first place Curly Saplee, second Cooper Umbrella, third Silas Ziegler, fourth Gwen McKee, and fifth Caleb Miller. Next class in the ring, light heavyweight 3. Emmeline Cleland, 189. Savannah Stoner, 50. Lane Denise, 2511. Gage Cleland, 195. And Taylor Storm, 147. 5 lambs in this class, 130 to 131. 130, 131. Light heavyweight 4 to ringside.
some variances out here in these lambs, and I think there's not necessarily a perfect one out here, but this is the one I like the best. I think he balances up pretty well. I think he's super three-dimensional as he run down that top. I mean, he's not incredibly shapely, but one that has some true natural dimension and thickness as you analyze him. He's really level and square from end to end, one that's really deep down through that lower portion of his body. Definitely excels the weather in second in terms of his depth of side and his rib shape. That's what I really like about him. He's pretty good bone, big-footed. Maybe not ideal in terms of how he travels off of those rear two, but I think he's good enough to get into that first hole. And again, a nice silhouette of a lamb here in second, one that is square made from end to end. I just would like to soften that flank on him and give him a little bit more depth of side in relation to a class winner, but I like how fresh this one is. He definitely excels the class winner in freshness, really good running down that top, pretty good on the move. Nice shape to come into second. Young man's weather here in third, maybe just a notch plainer for me in relation to those two above, but I do like how he balances up pretty well. One that's wide base, one that does have some rib shape to him. Maybe not as true and square through his hip as those ones above, but a nice shape coming into third. Want to touch on this young lady's weather in fourth. I really like him from the side profile, probably the best looking one in that regard. He simply just disappoints me when I get my hands on him. He gets soft, especially down through his line, a little bit washed, not near as powerful as those sheep above, but a nice one in terms of his overall build and design. Nice class.
Light heavyweight 3, first place, Emmeline Cleland. Second, Savannah Stoner. Third, Gage Cleland. Fourth, Taylor Sturm. And fifth, Lane Bruneyes. Next class in the ring, light heavyweight 4, Becky Koenig, 91. Jace Kelly, 518. Marilee Fagan, 31. And Lindsay Smith, 169. 4 lambs, weights 132 and 133. Light heavyweight 5 to ringside.
A two-horse race in this class. I'm going to like to go with the young lady's weather. I think he's the bigger outline of the two. Taller shouldered, taller at the point of the shoulder for me. One that's really fresh in his overall look and handle. He balances up well enough for me. He's really square and level from end to end. Has enough shapeliness running down that top. Super good in his angles when you look at him on that side profile. I think one that might be just a notch neater in terms of his chest floor and his elevation than this weather in second. Powerful shape here in second. One that's really robust in his rib shape. He's really really soft-sided, one that's deep-flanked, one that's tremendously big-boned and big-footed, and I appreciate that about him. I just need to stretch him out, particularly from flank to flank, just elevate him up through that chest floor, and then I think he's probably your class winner. But today he just got out-horsed by that one at first, but not to take away from a really good quality sheep here in second. Just some plainer lambs here, might be a little bit further along in their condition in third and fourth.
Light heavyweight four, first place Mallory Fagan, second Jace Kelly, third Lindsey Smith, and fourth Becky Kerrick. Next class in the ring, light heavyweight 5. Katie Miller, 309. Judd Cleland, 186. Landon McNew, 452. Four lambs in this class weighing 134 to 136. 134 to 136. Exhibitors up next, light heavyweight champion, first and second from each class at ringside for selection of light heavyweight champion.
Hey, ladies, weather out here. Izzo wins this drive. He's just beautiful from that side profile. One that is so neat about his chest and his chest floor. Lays that short blade in really good in terms of his skeleton. His build and design is really impeccable. And when you get your hands on him, he really blows you away. Actually kind of surprises you in terms of how powerful he is. He's really smooth and balanced down that top. Just great to look at from that side profile. A really, really athletic cut type of sheep with a lot of power and look to get into this first hole. Young man's sheep here in second, one that I appreciate in terms of his total package, in terms of the amount of muscle he's got. He's really big top, big hip, one that's deep-sided. Just one I need to elevate up through that chest floor. I need to lengthen out from end to end and just make him a little bit fancier in relation to that class winner, but a nice sheep overall. Young man's ewe-lamb here in third, one that I like in terms of her type and kind, just simply gets out-horsed in terms of power and look today.
Light heavyweight 5, first place Katie Miller, second Landon McNew, and third Judd Cleland. We're now ready for a light heavyweight champion. Tyler Best, 241, and Aaron Lamons, 356. Carly Saplee, 595, and Cooper Umbrella, 370. Emmeline Cleland, 189, and Savannah Stoner, 50. Jace Kelly, 518. Mallory Fagan, 31, and Katie Miller, 309, and Landon McNew, 452.
As we get into these heavier weights, I think we're getting some really powerful sheep out here. So when we get to these weights, I mean, it's ones that kind of have that extra look and really extra build, and the ones that really look good from that side profile, and do some of those things that we talked about just a notch better. I think there's one out here does it fairly easily for me, and then one that's a little bit closer when it comes to second and third. I'll go ahead and show you the ones I like.
Champion light heavyweight goes to Katie Millers. Will slide Landon McNews over and select on reserve. Carly Saplee. Congratulations, exhibitors. We'll go ahead and clear the ring. Great job. Next class in the ring, heavyweight 1. Heavyweight lambs into the ring. Lacey Lehman, 355. Chris Kelly, 517. Blake Bell, 103. Emmeline Martin, 393. Four lambs in this class weighing 138 to 139. Heavyweight 2 to ringside. Once again, our weight divisions today are sponsored by KM Showstock, Katie Miller and crew. Thank you so much for your support. Market Guard Exhibitors, this is our final weight division. And remember, we are not taking a break, so we have to finish our heavyweight classes. Heavyweight champion, grand champion, pair of 2 market lambs. And then we're ready for senior showmanship market goats.
Is whether out here one's a guide for me. I think one, again, that balances up really well from that side profile. I think one that's probably a notch bigger outlined, a little bit taller at that point of his shoulder. I really like how this sheep handles. Really, really fresh, really three-dimensional running down that top. Super big hip, big-ended kind of sheep. Really square from end to end. I think one that really balances up really well from that side profile. Probably a notch bigger boned and bigger fitted than our weather that comes here in second. One that I really like as well in terms of his overall balance. I think he just gets a notch plainer in his top shape in relation to our class winner. Maybe not one that is robust in terms of how he handles down that top. The one that you like in terms of his overall build and balance. He's really good on the move. He's really good in square off of all 4. Maybe one that's just a little bit more moderate in his frame size in relation to our class winner, but a really nice lamb to get into that second hole. Coming down into third and fourth, I think we have some sheep that are really nice in their overall type and kind. This is the weather here in third. Again, I just need to make him bigger outlined. I need to elevate his chest floor. I need to make him taller at the point of his shoulder in relation to those the sheep in 1 and 2. The one in terms of squareness, balance, is really good. He's really robust in his rib shape. He's really robust in his top shape. Maybe one that might be past the 12 noon in terms of his overall finish, maybe carrying just a little bit more condition than I'd like to see in relation to the ones above. I think we talked a little bit further down than we normally do, but I think the sheep are getting better and the quality is getting deeper.
Heavyweight 1, first place, Emmy Martin. Second, Blake Bear. Third, Chris Kelly. And fourth, Lacey Lehman. Next class, heavyweight 2. Cooper Umbrell, 369. Jace Kelly, 519. Hannah Bernise, 2512. 3 lambs in this class, 140 to 141. Heavyweight 3 to ringside. Attention guests around the barn, if you bought chances on the snack basket, we've got a winner. It's a yellow ticket. If you bought snack basket tickets, yellow, number 540821. 540821. You can bring your ticket to the livestock office and we'll give you your snacks.
Really win this drive, again, one that balances up really well, really square from end to end, one that I think is tall enough at that point of the shoulder, but when you get your hands on him, he is a super powerful sheep, probably the one of the wider constructed sheep we've seen all day. Really big in that upper hip, really big in that lower leg, one that I like a lot from that side profile. He's big-footed, big-boned. I think a sheep that ties together really well, probably stays together better on the move than our Weather Here in second as we get them out on the trot. But our Weather Here in second, again, one that's really fresh to the touch, really fed well, I think, at this weight. Maybe one that just gets a little bit more open about his shoulder. Maybe one I'd like to neaten up about that chest floor in relation to our class winner. Maybe just give a little bit bigger upper hip in this sheep, and we might get somewhere. But a sheep that is really nice in his overall type and kind. Plainer sheep here in third, but again, one that's tall-fronted, long-sided, has some dimension to it, just not enough overall power and width of those above.
Heavyweight 2, first place, Jace Kelly. Second, Cooper Umbrell. And third, Hannah Bernise. Heavyweight 3, into the ring. Emmy Martin, 394. George Swab, 333. Carly Saplee, 597. Emily Myers, 109. And Allie Lehman, 358. 5 lambs in this class weighing 142 to 144. Heavyweight 4 to ringside.
really powerful pair to start this drive. I'm going to like to use the young man's white appearing leather here. Just one that balances up really, really well. Incredible handle on this sheep. As you get your hands on him, he's super fresh and he is really, really thick as you analyze him down his top. Just one that when you get your hands on him, just blows you away in terms of his overall power, especially as you get down through his loin and into his upper hip. A sheep that silhouettes really well from that side profile. Sure, would I like to goose out his neck a little bit, make him a little bit longer neck? Absolutely, but he ties in good there. He's big boned, he's big footed, he's really good on the move. I think a sheep that really balances up well and gets into that first hole. Young lady's dark appearing leather here in second. Again, another one that I really like, one that's really good from that side profile. Maybe just doesn't tie together as well in terms of his overall build, especially as you analyze him about his front end in relation to the class winner. By all means, he's not bad, but he just got in front of a buzzsaw here today in that class winner. The one that I really like in terms of you get your hands on him. He's fresh, he's good in terms of his overall design and build. Again, another one that's wide base, good off of all four. Big boned and big footed to get into that second hole. Young ladies, weather here in third. One that just gets a little bit plainer for me in relation to those class winners. One that doesn't have that overall dimension and look maybe not as fresh as those two above. But boy, he is widely constructed. He's wide based. He's big boned. He's big footed. Really nice sheep. Young ladies, sheep here in fourth, I just want to mention one again I like from that side profile, one that's really tall-fronted and fresh, just one that narrows up for me really when you analyze him from behind in relation to those above.
Heavyweight 3, first place George Schwab, second Carly Saplee, third Allie Lehman, fourth Emmy Martin, and fifth Emily Myers. Next class in the ring, heavyweight 4. Heavyweight 4. Chase Cruzy's 166, Chris Kelly 516, and Taylor Sturms 148. 3 lambs in this class weighing 145 to 146.
Really nice weather to start this drive here. One that really balances up from that side profile, really neatly made and built about his front end. One that was really good designed when you analyze his overall structure. But when you get your hands on him, he's really, really powerful and three-dimensional down that top. He's still fresh enough at this weight. For me, definitely when you analyze him from end to end, one that's really square hipped, really level down that top. I think a really neat balanced sheep that's really, really good on the move to get into that first hole. A bigger scaled sheep here in second. He's really bigger outlined. He's longer sided. Just one that's a little bit plainer for me in his overall design and muscle shape. Probably carrying a notch more condition than I'd like to see. Just freshen him up a bit, and it might be a little different. Really big scaled sheep here coming in third. This black weather, really long-sided, really tall at the point of shoulder. Just simply gives up too much dimension and power to those sheep above.
Heavyweight 4, first place Chris Kelly, second Chase Cruzy, and third Taylor Sturm. If we can bring Chase Cruzy back into the ring, we're going to go ahead and present our grand champion rate of gain. For our market lambs, Chase Cruzy is winning grand champion rate of gain, sponsored by Souter Showstock. Chase Cruzy, back into the ring with your lamb. Once again, Chase is receiving grand champion rate of gain. His lamb gained 0.74 pounds per day. Let's give him a great big round of applause. Thank you to our sponsor again, Souter Showstock. Congratulations, Chase. Next in the ring, heavyweight 5, Alana Haynes 445, Andy Swab 335, and Jackson Stoner 48. 3 lambs in this class weighing 149 to 160, 149 to 160. So for our weight class up next, heavyweight champion. Again, our weight classes today are sponsored by KM Showstock, Katie Moore, and crew. Thank you so much for your support. Congratulations to all of our exhibitors as we finish up our lamb show here today.
Really nice pair of withers to start this drive. Young ladies, whether is going to win the drive. I think one that really balances up really well from that side profile. Sure, he's more moderate than our weather here in second in terms of his frame size, but that definitely doesn't mean he's small. One that's definitely tall enough at that point of its shoulder. Really like how he lays that neck into his shoulders. One that's really three-dimensional as you analyze him running down his top. Really fresh to that handle. Good and level and square through that hip. Really big-butted kind of sheep. Big-boned, big-footed sheep to get into this first hole, I think, fairly easily. Young man's weather here in second. I really like how big outlined he is. He's super tall at that point of his shoulder. He's really long-sided, one that really has a lot of stretch to him, and he's really fresh still at this weight. He just simply gets out-horsed in terms of his overall shapiness. I'd like to square him up just a notch at his tailhead in relation to our class winner, but one that I really like in terms of his overall athleticism and his build. I think, again, one that just kind of ran into a super-duper sheep in first here today, but a sheep that I've really liked you presenting all day today in terms of his overall build and design. Young ladies, sheep here in third. Again, one that gets a little bit softer in its overall make and kind. I'd like to give it a little bit more dimension and look in relation to those 2 above, but a nice sheep in its own right.
Heavyweight 5, first place Andy Swab, second Jackson Stoner, and third Alana Haynes. We're now ready for heavyweight champion. From heavyweight 1, Blake Bells 103 and Emlyn Martins 393. Heavyweight 2, Jace Kelly is 519 and Cooper Umbrell 369. Heavyweight 3, George Swab 333 and Carly Suplee 597. Heavyweight 4 is Chris Kelly 516 and Chase Cruzy 166. And heavyweight 5, Andy Swab 335 and Jackson Stoner 48. Once again, this is our heavyweight champion. And then we're ready for grand champion Market Lamb. After selection of our grand champion, we'll do pair of 2 Market Lambs. If you entered pairs when you did your entry forms, make sure you have your lambs at ringside ready to go for pairs. Once again, heavyweight champion now, grand champion next, then pair of 2 Market Lambs.
As we get into the heavyweight drive here, obviously we have some bigger sheep out here, ones that have a ton of power to them. So we kind of got to go from there and kind of start with how they're built and how they look from that side profile, how they moved when they got out here on the gate, which we analyzed all these in each of the classes, and then kind of add in some of the other bells and whistles in terms of how fancy they are, how big boned, how big footed they are, rib shape, etc. I think there's a lot of really good, nice sheep out here, ones that are really, really productive, some that are really my type and kind. I'm going to go ahead and show you the ones I like best.
Grand champion heavyweight goes to Andy Swab. We're going to slide Jackson Stanners into the hole, select a reserve. Reserve champion to George Swab. Thank you so much. We'll clear the ring. Congratulations on all of our exhibitors. Last call for Cash Fisk. Lamb number 29, you need it at ringside. Cash Fisk, 29 to ringside. We're ready for grand champion Market Lamb. Here's our lineup for grand champion Market Lamb. From your lightweight division, Casey Barr and Cash Fisk. Your medium weights, Colt Cleveland and Katie Miller. Light heavyweight, Katie Miller and Carly Sapri. And your heavyweights, Andy Swab and George Swab. Let's put our hands together. Congratulations on all of our Market Lamb exhibitors. It's a great run out there.
want to congratulate all the exhibitors for a super show, beginning with the showmanship that was really, really good, and now we've come into this Market Lamb show in the drive here, and I think the quality is really, really exceptional, especially near the top of some of these classes. I think there's some really, really good sheep here, and I just want to commend all the exhibitors and families that help them get it together. We got a long day here, so I'm going to go out and show you the ones that I like the best. We're splitting hairs on some of these. There's some really, really good sheep out here. They got a lot of power, really, really good in their build and their presentation, and I appreciate that. I'll show you the ones I like the best, and congratulations to all the exhibitors.
Grand champion Market Lamb goes to Katie Miller. We fill the sled with Carly Supreme. We'll pick a reserve grand. Reserve grand to Andy Swab. Congratulations to all of our exhibitors. Let's give a great big round of applause again for them. Our judge, Mr. Jonathan May, all of our sponsors. Our grand champion today was sponsored by Souder Stock Show, and our reserve grand by the Haynes family. Jonathan, we'll grab a couple pictures while we set up pairs. Market Goats, Senior Showman. We're going to say about 10 minutes. We'll be ready for you. Here's the splits for senior showmanship. Heat 1, alphabetical, Zach Beam to Katie Miller. Heat 1, senior showman, Zach Beam to Katie Miller. Heat 2, Maddie Musser to Mason Rickard. Once again, the lists are alphabetical, so the splits are by alphabet. Senior division, Heat 1, Zach Beam to Katie Miller. Heat 2, Maddie Musser to Mason Wickard. Market Lamb exhibitors, if you've got a pair of 2 Market Lambs, let's get them in the ring.